Hi there, Scott here, and this is the first in, who's to say, maybe a series of many videos. That's my intention anyway. I'm not very technologically savvy, and had really wanted to give some video footage to folks and some speeches and some presentations online in video format for a long time now, and haven't really figured out how to do it. So I'm shooting this just on a normal digital camera, and I'm going to try to upload it to YouTube. And even though it's not going to be aesthetically pretty and the quality of the sound might be poor, I apologize for that if it is, it's gotten to the point when I just have to get this off my chest. And the mediums, or the media, that I've been using for the last 6 years to try to communicate some of these things that I'm going to be talking about in this very short video, they're just not cutting it. Yes, I have this all posted in many different ways on my blog, and yes, I have all of my writings, or most of my writings, uploaded onto Mediafire and Yumpu and Issue, and yeah, I've been posting almost daily, sometimes many times a day for the last 6 years on Facebook, and it's just not cutting it. And, you know, each one of us has this journey in life. We all have this priceless collection of moments that we each have in the bodies we're currently inhabiting. Who knows what's going to happen after we die? We're all going to be surprised. And yet it is a fact that each of us only has this life to do something in the body we're in now. And it just got to the point for me that if I didn't start making some video and trying to reach you guys this way, and gals this way, that I would probably lay on my deathbed and really regret it. You know, it just would have been almost irresponsible, even though it's not, as you can tell, a very comfortable media for me. But anyways, it's going to be a pretty short video. I'm going to shoot real straight just because what I have to share is, it's really important. And it seems, as I look all around me, online and in my world, both my circle of friends in the United States that I communicate with regularly and everyone around me here in Germany, it's just like humanity has just got their head stuck in the sand. And it's not the time to be having the head stuck in the sand. Because, yes, folks and prophets and gurus and soothsayers, they've been saying for thousands of years that the end is nigh. And of course, up to now, they've pretty much all been wrong, and everyone laughs about them. The signs and the cartoons, the end is nigh, haha, we all laugh. And now science is kind of showing that the end is kind of nigh. Like, you're not a whacked out person to say that. You're someone who's actually read the research. Okay, and by nigh, I mean we are in the beginning phases of the next mass extinction event on this planet. There have been 5 before us, apparently, probably more, but scientists are saying 5 before us. This will be the 6th, or is currently the beginning phases of the 6th. This will be the only one caused by mankind, humankind. We're causing it, and it is about to hit the fan. From many different angles, not just raising sea levels, and not just biodiversity dying out, and not just carbon emissions, and not just massive unnecessary slaughter of sentient beings, not just economic collapse. I mean, it's coming at us from all sorts of angles. And I know one prominent scientist says we're going to be completely extinct in 100 years, which is a little disconcerting. And this is not some quack scientist, this is a respected guy. And I'll link the links below. And quite a few, many climatologists are saying, look, we're kind of screwed here. We've already passed all these thresholds. It's gonna happen. There's going to be mass extinction. It's just a question of how bad it's gonna be. So, if the train wreck's coming, and you know it's coming, and you really can't stop it, it would seem that at the very least we could do is we would try to at least minimize the casualties. And we're just not doing it. So I'm going to make this little video in the hopes that it will reach anybody, somebody, even one person, to get them to join me in trying to minimize the suffering that is rapidly approaching. So, as I said, we don't have much time, one generation, maybe two, possibly three, before 80 to 100% of humanity is either in a state of massive suffering, close to death, or dead. Okay? That's pretty much what we're looking at. Maybe it's only going to be 70% die off in 300 years. Maybe it's going to be all of us in 100. Probably somewhere in the middle. But the point is, a lot of us are going to suffer and die. A lot of us within the next 2 generations. Maybe 3 generations, but that's real close. Okay, that's happening actually now. That's our children's children. Okay? So, and weirdly enough, we deserve it. It's a little difficult to say, but it's true. We don't need to be melodramatic about it. We, on its face, if justice is a set of scales and consequences are commensurate with actions, we deserve it. We deserve to die off. And we deserve to die off pretty brutally. I hope we don't. I hope we make some changes, but right now we're asking for it and we're getting it. And I hope we stop asking for it so we won't get it. Martin Luther King was right. The arc of the moral universe is long. It does bend towards justice, and justice is coming, and it ain't going to be pretty when it gets here. Okay? It's going to come in the form of mass starvation. Okay? There's going to be real dramatic food shortages. There's going to be wars fought over food. And this, when we look now that 60% of our world's corn and 80% of our world's soy is being fed to farmed animals that we don't need to be breeding, raping, confining, abusing, mutilating, and then slaughtering for food. Every vegan out there is living proof. I've been a vegan for 3 years. I've never been healthier. There is no physiological need to ingest animal corpses or animal secretions. None. Zero need. Zero. It's all lust and desire, right? Desire of the stomach, lust of the palate. That's it. And so here we are giving most of the world's food sources that could be feeding people now. People are starving now, but certainly could be feeding people when the mass starvation hits, and we're feeding it to livestock that then we're unnecessarily slaughtering, breeding more to eat more of the food that our starving people could be and will need to be someday soon eating. Then there's going to be wars over water in the third world. Many think tanks have been speculating on this for a long time, and now water shortage is getting very real in many third world countries, and there's going to be wars over water. In the first world, water is going to become wealth. Nestle's already tried to buy the rights to water. The Koch brothers are in on it too. Pretty soon, if the oligarchy in America has its way, water is going to be privatized and owned. Already in many communities, it's illegal to collect rainwater, which is insane. Yeah, collect rainwater anyway if you live in one of those areas. I'm just saying it now. The point is, there's going to be real water shortages when most of our fresh water is also going to animal agriculture, right? The water it takes to make one hamburger is more than the water you need to shower for 6 months. That's insane. And we're running out of water, so that's really got to stop. All right? Next, we're going to have, of course, already we've had rising temperatures, which is causing ice melt in the Arctic regions, which is causing a pretty significant rise in ocean levels. No one knows exactly how fast this is going to happen. Some are saying it's going to be a 1-foot increase. Some are projecting possibly a 20-foot increase in sea level areas, but in ocean levels. And regardless, what's going to happen is within the next 20 to 50 years, maybe a little longer, maybe sooner, I'm betting around 50 years, maybe 100, you're going to have millions and millions of people displaced from their homes because they're going to be underwater. And they're all going to be heading inland looking for places to live, and they're all going to be hungry. This is not a good thing. okay? And many of us will be reaching out to those people and giving them what we have, but and that's going to be a huge, huge problem. It's not going to be pretty, okay? And again, the number one cause of global warming, of the many causes, admittedly, the number one cause, up to 51% of all greenhouse gas emissions come from, guess, animal agriculture. That's correct. So the number one way we can stop global warming is to go vegan. And in fact, if we don't go vegan, the carbon tax and a ban on fracking aren't going to stop it. Going vegan and going plant-based, as far as diet is concerned, worldwide, has got to be a part of any approach to global warming, or the oceans will rise, people will be displaced, and society will begin to collapse. Period. Okay. So, and all of this, of course, is going to be coupled with the social problems we're already seeing now, which is massive increase in poverty, coupled with very poor education. And when you put ignorance and hunger together, you get a tendency to become radicalized in your bigotry and your prejudice, and a tendency to become radicalized in your religion, which leads to acts of violence, which leads to massive outbreaks of fear, which is all happening now, all over the world, which leads to our less than clever or insidiously clever leaders responding with violence, which of course makes the radicalization more powerful, which leads to more terror attacks, which leads to more fear. And on we get until we eventually have massive chaotic violence mixed with police states. The governments of all these countries that are affected using it as an excuse to crack down and have totalitarian rule, right? Curfews, disarming the populace while militarizing the police, right? Dismemberment of all civil liberties, and you get a full-blown police state, pretty much ruled and controlled by corporate executives who control their politicians. And all of this is based in and grounded in and is being born from one common social disease, right? One common social cancer. And that cancer is called speciesism. It's the false belief that humanity can do whatever it wants to every other species on the planet. Because that bigotry, and that is a bigotry, breeds all other bigotries. It breeds racism, it breeds sexism, it breeds Islamophobia, it breeds Buddhaphobia, if there is such a thing. It breeds homophobia. All forms of bigotry and prejudice and injustice are born in this base bigotry that 95% of the human population is still directly supporting, which is speciesism. And until that stops, we will not know peace. Until that stops, we will not know justice, and we will not know a lack of violence. We will continue to plummet deep into our next dark ages. And unfortunately, deservedly so. And yet, it is not too late. It is not too late. Yes, the mass extinction event is probably coming. It probably is. And it doesn't have to be as bad as it's looking right now. If enough of us just motivate and become vegan and become active for the animals and active for social movements of justice at the same time, like Black Lives Matter and like the fight for gay and lesbian and transgender equality and the fight for respect for people of all religions, if we do all of this concurrently, but certainly starting from a place of veganism, starting from a place of respecting all sentient life, and then allowing that to blossom into our social calls for justice, we can minimize the suffering when the next extinction event, when this current extinction event blossoms and becomes a real problem. So that's what I wanted to say. This is really, really important. Blessings and shout outs to all of you who are already vegan. That's a start. That's the moral groundwork. No matter what else you're doing protest-wise, if you're not coming from a place of non-hypocrisy, which means veganism, it's not going to be as powerful. So being vegan is the starting point. Being an activist is what's going to actually have us be involved in change, positive change that could actually save lots of lives, millions of lives. And we need more team members. We're short-staffed here. There are a lot of vegans. There are more vegans every day. There are more people waking up to this truth every day. And we're just not waking up fast enough. We need more help. I'm just asking you for help. And if our species decides to collectively choose to descend into the dark ages, I'll do whatever I can to minimize the suffering when it hits the fan. And it doesn't have to go there. It doesn't have to go there. We can do better. Right? We can be better. And if any of you need any help in making the transition, there are lots of resources out there online, lots of really good ones. There are lots of vegans, surprisingly probably nearby, who would be thrilled to help you in any way they can. And every new vegan saves every day pounds of grain, gallons of fresh water, around 20 cubic feet, I believe, of 20 pounds. I think they measured in pounds. 20 pounds of greenhouse gases, and at least one sentient life from a brutal life of imprisonment, mutilation, suffering, and death. Every day, every single day, And maybe you going vegan won't be enough. Maybe me going vegan won't be enough. But at least we'll be doing something powerful to help. And going vegan and then being an activist for veganism is, without a doubt, not only the most powerful thing you can do for the planet and for your loved ones and for your own health and well-being. It actually, without it, we will, as a species, go either extinct or close to extinct within the next 3 generations. So this is it. This is the warning bell, and I really pray that a lot of you answer the call. That's it. Thanks. Bye.